So, welcome back to Daily Transfer Update. Happy Wednesday to everybody. Hope you all have a wonderful day, whatever it is you're doing. Let's start with a piece of good news from yesterday, and that is that we have announced the signing of Gabriel Martinelli, which is our first summer signing. We actually announced Socrates on the exact same day last year, the 2nd of July. I don't know if that's an omen for how we're going to go forward in this transfer window. If that is the case, the next signing was Lucas Torreira on the 10th. Hopefully we don't have to wait that long, but we have announced the signing of Martinelli. He comes in on a long-term deal, 18-year-old Brazilian. And I think it's a good signing for roughly around 6 million euros. I think that's an absolute bargain in today's market to get a player so highly rated. Now, he has come from the 4th division of Brazilian football. People may laugh at that, but he was called up to go and train with the Brazil first team, the first team for the national squad, which is, when you think about that, that is like a player from League 2 being called up to go and train with the first team for England. That is pretty high praise from their manager to call him up to go and train. That was before the Copa America. Obviously, he never went to the Copa America. He came to England, he signed a deal with Arsenal, and he was unveiled yesterday. That is a good piece of news. Very, very good player. Whether he gets into the first team or not remains to be seen. But he's got a very good turn of pace, very tricky and skillful, left foot, right foot. And hopefully, we get to see him on the pre-season tour. That's hopefully where we get our first glimpse of him. And who knows, it could be another Guendouzi. 18-year-old unknown comes in, haven't got a clue about him, and he started or took part in 47 games last season. So, first piece of good news for the summer for us. Now, let's move on to another bit of good news. And that is that Alexandre Lacazette is about to sign a brand new contract with Arsenal. That is being widely reported. His agent was at Highbury House yesterday, which is normally where the contracts are signed, sealed and delivered. His agent was there. His agency is _agencies. He posted on his Instagram story a video in Highbury House, not with Lacazette in it, but a video of him in Highbury House, and he was there outside the Emirates Stadium as well. Now, why would you go there if you're trying to force a move? Surely you'd be negotiating with the team that you're trying to get a move to. So for me, this all stems into one direction, and that is Alexandre Lacazette will be signing a new deal very, very soon if it hasn't already been signed. So hopefully, next couple of weeks, we will hear some news about that and Arsenal announce it. Now let's move on to another player that's currently at Arsenal, and that is Emiliano Martinez. He has come out with this. This is an interesting statement. He has said, if Arsenal give me the number 2, it has to be a chance to get the number 1. If I'm not going to do it, they don't offer me any games. I can't stay at Arsenal. I need to play. Back in April, he said, being a number 2 is not enough for me. I will never accept being a number 2. So that's quite some U-turn. He's saying, look, if you give me the number 2, it's a chance to get the number 1. If I get the number 1, I've got to take it basically and prove I'm number 1. So quite a U-turn. I think that, listen, if he wants first team football, he ain't getting it week in, week out. If we can promise him a certain amount of games, maybe League Cup, early stages of Europa League, I don't want another situation where we went into a Europa League final without our best goalkeeper starting. I don't want this guy to be our Europa League goalkeeper when it really matters. I fully expect us to get to the latter stages again. I think, we've proven we're good enough to get to the latter stages. We got to a final and got slapped. We got to a semi-final and lost to the eventual winners. But I don't want all this, he's the cup goalkeeper, he's this guy. No, you play your best goalkeeper. If he ain't happy with that, which he clearly isn't, get rid of him. Pack him on his way, go and find someone that is happy. Maybe an older goalkeeper that's on the decline, which would be happy to play 10, 12 games a season in a couple of cup competitions. Other than that, if he is happy to be kicked out of the Europa League team for first team duties on the latter stages, then cool, keep him. But if he ain't, off you go, son. Bye-bye. Thanks for the memories. Anyway, let's move on to the next player. and that is Samuel Umtiti. Now, reports are going around. I did a stream on this last night, 9 o'clock. Umtiti, £45 million Barcelona would be happy to sell him for. Obviously, we know about his knee injury, kept him out for a large part of last season. The World Cup winning centre-back, 25 years old, is probably more than likely going to leave Barcelona this summer. They need to get some money in. They want to go and sign other players. They're going to have to get rid of 4 or 5 players this summer, which is going to give them enough money to go and buy a couple of superstars to go and compete with Real Madrid. Because let's be real, Madrid have spent over 200 million euros already. They've bought in 5-6 players, including Eden Hazard, Luka Jovic, some very, very good players in there that they've signed. So Barcelona are kind of in their shadow right now. Freeing up Samuel Umtiti would give them some money to add to what they've already got and go and buy a player. Who them players are, I couldn't care less. Is Samuel Umtiti a risk in signing him because of that knee? Is it a risk worth taking? I think it is. For £45 million, I think I would take the risk now. Earlier in the window, I was a little bit, I don't know. But £45 million, if his knee holds up, you've got yourself a world-class centre-back. If his knee doesn't hold up, you've wasted £45 million when you could have gone and got somebody a little bit cheaper from the Premier League. I don't know. I think I probably would sway towards that rather than going out there and signing Zaha, for example. We don't need an attacking-minded player in that mould for 50, 60, 70 million pounds. We need defensive structure. He can bring that. But that does lead me nicely onto Wilfried Zaha. We bid £40 million. Apparently, that was split over 5 years, paid in instalments. They've labelled it as embarrassing, apparently. Well, what's embarrassing is valuing your player. It's now actually gone up to 120 million, according to Neil Ashton, who chats the biggest amount of crap I've ever heard. No direct quotes from Crystal Palace hierarchy. He's just wrote, it was embarrassing, was what they said. No quote, didn't say who said it. Probably a non-story. Probably ain't even bid for Wilfried Zaha. We shall move on. Another one is Harry Maguire. Now, this story broke late last night that Arsenal have apparently inquired and offered £50 million for Harry Maguire. Now, again, I'm not convinced this is a story. You know, Man United had bid 70 million, Leicester point blank said no. Man City, they bid the same, no. They've both been blown away and been told, get lost, 85 million or you're not having him. So why would Arsenal go and bid 50 million? It makes no sense to me at all, this story. Some of these stories that come out in and around these transfer windows are just absolutely laughable. It's like they all sit in an office and go, right, which fan base should we trigger today? Oh yeah, let's pick on Arsenal. They're the easiest to wind up online. Oh, let's go and make out their penny pinching again. So you ever hear from the media, penny pinching Arsenal. Yeah, we're not penny pinching because if we have bid £40 million for Zaha, then that is £40 million. You do know 40 million is a lot of money, right? With this Harry Maguire one, again, £50 million. That is about what I'd pay for him because he ain't worth any more than that. In fact, I probably wouldn't even pay that. Go and get Samuel Umtiti for 45. So, I don't know. Some of these stories that come out, they're just absolutely laughable. And yeah, that's the end of that. Last but by no means least, and this is Lucas Vazquez. We spoke about him earlier in the transfer window. Reports going around that we're going to table, or have tabled, sorry, a £27 million bid for him. He's 28 years old, just turned that the other day. Right winger, can play right midfield. That's where he's played 3/4 of his games for Real Madrid, and he's played 183 times for them. 21 goals, which isn't great for a right winger. 44 assists, which ain't too bad when you add it both together, but it's still, 1 in 3? Is that really good enough? If you're going to play somebody on the right wing, I think you need to play somebody a little bit better than that. Personally, another one I'm not really too sure I want. I don't think he'd cut it in the Premier League. I think he's a little bit too lightweight. He's a very good player, don't get me wrong, but I just don't think he'd suit Arsenal. I think that there's better options out there, like a Ziyech, who, by the way, is about the same sort of price. And I think that that's something we might explore once the African Cup of Nations is done. Maybe go and have a look at him. But for now, as for Lucas Vazquez, not for me. Obviously, Madrid need to cash in. They need to try and get some money back in after spending out a king's ransom, literally. So yeah, there we go. Anyway, all enjoy your Wednesday. Subscribe if you're new. I will be back at 5 o'clock and 9 o'clock. Don't forget the live streams every day. Put the notification bell on. You will not miss a thing. Also, head over to my Instagram, LeeGunner82. Give that a follow if you wish. I'm out of here. Laters, peeps.